You are muted, Mayur.
Thanks, Amrish. And yes, since all our friends have joined from various time zones, so I'll just welcome everyone by saying Namaste, IFBIC members. And this is a great, yet another session on a lovely Sunday morning or Saturday, rocking Saturday evening for few. And yes, so today's session is with our great speaker, who is also a vice president of IFBIC. So, food, and everybody loves food, and everybody loves to have food in a good restaurant, in with good interiors, good staff, and of course a good taste. But what does it take to build a good restaurant? Uh, is it is it easy or is it difficult to manage staff? Is it easy to get raw materials? How difficult it is to dispose of the waste management? So coming to all these topics, and I think we have a much better speaker over here who can answer all these queries, who can guide us. What are the key points to start in a restaurant? Let's go to Alok Sharma. So I won't say, Alok, the stage is all yours because I don't have a stage. But yes, the mic and the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good evening. So I guess Mayuji have already, spoken about what is food and what is music and what is interiors. So I guess many of we are all foodaholic, I guess. So with good ambience, at the end of the day, we always prefer having good food with good people around us with good ambience. At the end of the day, no matter what, once we if we are sick also, we go and prefer having good food somewhere to refresh ourselves, right? When we win, we go and enjoy in a good place and enjoy the events, and rejoice our we rejoice our yeah sorry yeah we rejoice ourselves. Okay, so let me share my screen, and let's see how well we can understand what is food and how to evaluate. Yes, Amrish, my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So let me introduce myself. Yes. So to introduce myself, I'm the yes. To introduce myself, I'm the director of my own firm, Reverb, which is running successfully since 16 years of business in food and beverage industry. It's a pub, and I'm the managing director of my firm, which is an interior designer, which is in the name of Revolution Decor. It's running since 11 years of now. We recently started the pet clinic where our whole family is into, they are into pet lovers. So I've done various projects related with NSPC, which we all know is one of the hydropower projects. I've done numerous projects related with interiors, related with supplies of various materials related with hydropowers. Then I was a trader as well, and I used to, import as well few of the products which is already related with uh, like wooden floorings, like laminates, like gypsum boards, to many things. I was one part of it where Revolution Decor was, taking up these projects. So I mentor QSR, which is like quick serving restaurant, which is a trend here. I even mentor cloud kitchens, restaurants, pubs, and many more. So with this, at the age of 19, I started all this culture of uh, of my journey related with food and beverages. I started the journey with a scratch, where I was working in my own restaurant. I was, washing my dishes, all the plates. From there, I started my journey, and then I started to cook from Combi 1, Combi 2 to a chef. Then I learned how to cook Chinese, proper, authentic Chinese. I cook tandoori foods. I cook fusion foods as well, which is on trend, and Indian foods as well, where it has many segments, I rather say, right? So I'm a fitness trainer. I am certified from Gold Gym of India, and that is one of my passion. So if you see a beautiful, Himalayas, I am from a place named called Darjeeling, which is a place it's known all over the world. It's like it is said that it is Queen of Hills, so most beautiful place uh, of of India, I rather say, right? Like let's say 60% of the tourists come and visit. All the foreigners to all the Indians to, let's say, maximum of the footfalls we get it in my place. So this is my introduction. So yes, if any queries comes in, please, or anything you want to ask, free to ask. So this is few of the project I just initiated, few of my projects. This was my first project which I initiated in the year of 2007, I guess. Yes, which I initiated in my place, the first of panelless boutique, where it was not in even in trend. So I've done many housing projects, commercial cafes, hotels. I have been, mentoring. I've been executing. I have been doing the projects. So I've covered up more than 200 plus projects till now. So as you can see that I am into mentoring of food and beverage in my days, where I go to institute, IIAS, and various different institute. I mentor students for food and beverages as well. So then these are the some of the corporate events which was initiated. I just added one event. One of them is for the Jeep, where I helped them to launch the whole company in my place, and I've done more than 500 plus events related with, let's say, marriage, related with events of anniversaries, related with bigger events of more than 3,000 delegates, where I was in charge and I took the whole project out. So this is one of my pub interiors, where I finished this project in the year of 2016, where few of the products, if you can see, it was not even initiated, and it was not even on trend. So I like to explore, I like to research, and I take lots of time to initiate a project such that it becomes one of its kind. So this is my restaurant, which I started way back 16 years before. It's just let's say one picture of it. It's actually one of the kind and the oldest restaurant, and it's a pub. So I have not changed the interiors because people prefer the same setup. So this is my pet clinic, where I designed it and I executed it, and it's been approx been 1 year, 4 months or 5 months it is running. So we saw a very niche requirement for pets, as you know that they cannot even talk, they cannot even say that they are suffering from any kinds of a disease. So one of my pet, uh, he expired because of the heat stroke, where we could not diagnose anything. He was okay, but in fraction of time he just died. So knowing and and observing closely, so we decided that why not, we create such a thing that it becomes easy for any of the people to come, and they can have one proper treatment done. So this is one kind where we open this clinic for 24 into 7 if it is required, or else the normal times it goes on. So see, I want to start food and beverage with a beautiful quote which I always write quotes. So food and beverage industry is a passion within yourself. No passion, I don't think so any of the food industry can uh, run. It's not a business oriented subject. That's why we always think that that all the startups they fail because of knowledge. They are not passionate to know things. They just know that mixing of different spices will make good food, and there is a very huge margin there, so why not we initiate. So actually food industry is a very different industry. The whole mindset is different, and the whole mindset of the person has to be very passionate. They have to be in the business. They cannot rule the business. So so this is, and just an introductory segment that why food industry is a very different. So this is the core setup of how we operate, especially for hotels or restaurants. It's one kind. It is same formula we use. It's like in the front office. It's the reception part, the housekeeping. It's all used in. It's a standard version of hotel, pubs, restaurants, or fine dining, semi fine dining, or a ghost restaurants, where people are unaware of it, that what is a ghost restaurant, right? So people are always say that it's a cloud kitchen. Actually it's not cloud kitchen. It's actually a ghost restaurant where we cannot see. So it is always served at night also. So the whole trend of cloud kitchen started where they started serving at night. So these are the few of the departments: food and beverages service, food and beverages production, right? HR department, accounts and financing, sales and marketing. The security is very important, especially for pubs, restaurant, for the pubs, discotheques, and for hotels. For restaurants, it's like it's they are very sophisticated people they enter, right? Engineering and maintenance, where we it's standard for both the let's say for the restaurants or for the hotels, right? So see, these are the different uh, food and beverages department, right, where people get maximum confused that where they are going and why they are going, because every uh, people, okay, in this segment there is a different setup. People feel classy to go to a lounge, right? They have a different setup of clothings. People go to a cafe, there is a very different setup of clothings, and they are they are merrymaking in a very different way, right? So for a bar and restaurant is a very different segment where they entertain themselves, related with work, related with their friendships, related with it's always a mixed fusion. So this or and one more thing I wanted to add on is that related with a specialty restaurant where we find maximum uh, in five-star hotels, seven-star hotels, but we do not get to see in India, especially in India, we do not get to see the specialized restaurants or the specialized form of food, right? In common hotels. So this is how it's like. I wanted to give an example is that a Peshwari cuisine you get it in you do not get it in any kinds of in cafes. You do not get in restaurants. You do not get in in pubs or lounges, because Peshwari cuisine is a secret cuisine which is actually initiated from Pakistan, and now only if there are few in India. I can rather say that only 13 to 15 people they know how to make an authentic Peshwari cuisine all over. So let me go to a different. So this is how a discotheque looks. It's a very different ambience. You can see a very different setup of energy. You can feel the setup of. It's like people are more into, uh, let's say, more into drinking rather than eating food. So it's a very different setup of mind. Actually, music changes the whole uh, mindset of a person. Once if we are stressed, once if we are too happy, the whole environment of or the ambience of the discotheque, once we go, the whole ambience, the whole mindset of the people changes. So what are the let's say SWOT analysis is very important to move any kind of restaurants or hotels, or you can say that why five-star hotel is there in a proper town, why there is a small cafe running successfully in a jungle, why there is a small kind of a pub, okay, which is not even running successfully in towns, but it is running successfully in mid of the in mid of the in mid of the jungles as well. Why not? It is possible to do it because there is a different mindset, and there's different kinds of analysis what we do before we even set up of hotel or restaurants or pubs or discotheques, because every person have a different mindset how to run, and what is the mindset of a person, a personal founders, what is the mindset of of a founder, how a founder should initiate that, whether he should go for a cafe or whether he should just start with a hotel come rooms, or with a small basic restaurant where he can take a stress and move things ahead. So this is one part of analysis what we do, where we totally study about the competitors, that uh, what are they doing. It's a very detailed project. It is not a project where we can take an initiative like, okay, fine, tomorrow I want to plant up an industry or plant up an restaurant, let's start. So it's always a failure, right? So what we do is that the homework of any hotels or any let's say food and beverage industry, it's very important. So what we do is that we have a checklist of these few points before we start. So starting off competitors, where we go to places where we go and dine and see what's the food quality, how are they operating, how are they operating their staffs, how are they what is the chef has different qualities of chef, because looking at the place, looking at the population, we cannot hire more expensive chefs. So looking at all the analysis, we make a project, right? Then we come into how can we overcome the competitors, how can we be creative, how can we be let's say, how can we add on more values to our place, such that people can come uh, to our new place, and they can you know they can eat, they can have a good time together, their stress level comes down. How can we initiate all these competitors you know uh, advantages towards us, right? So these are the few things what we analyze in a very stronger note. Then comes the product, the heart of which is the heart of any hotel or restaurants or any of the F&B industry. Let it be a tea shop also, right? So, placing up products means adding up menus, which is one of the most important place where we are showing to public. This is the first step where we are showing to public that, see, we can serve you this. We have a bar menu in this way. If one person is running a bar, we are having a good placement where there is no glitch in coming towards us. There is no glitch in keeping your vehicles. So in this way, we have different set of promotions. Even we have a trend of promoting that there is availability of keeping cars. So people come with cars, they do not know where to place it. So even the service, even the quality, it's like mouth to mouth. It's always an organic state of marketing what we do. So I'm very, let's say, I'm proudly enough to say that I have never ever advertised about my restaurant, and it is an organic restaurant where I have never placed any promotions on social medias. I've never placed any of the promotions on Instagram. Even we don't even carry a page. Even we don't carry a Facebook page, but it has been, running successfully, and we are having all this people where 80% of my tables are booked just because of this organic marketing. Though it was a difficult time to raise it, but we could do it. And one more discotheque I have got, which I have not placed or not sure. It is also a place where we have given it on lease, but we have never ever done an marketing. So once we know what we are doing, once the founder knows about food, beverages, and once a founder has worked with the employees hand to hand, right? So this is one of the benefits what we get. So then comes the department to sustain. Once, especially it depends on the founders at the first initial projects, that if a founder don't have any idea how to sustain, how to roll the funds, how to roll the let's say how to roll the manpowers, how to roll the chefs. Because once they create a menu, if a chef creates a menu and if they go right, so what will be, what will be our next step, what will be our next uh, plan of action. Because in this industry in India, I don't know about in foreign countries, right? So in India, it's like people, they are working till today, right? Tomorrow, we never know that whether they will be working with us or not. But in five-star hotels, it is an contractor. But here in any of the pubs and all, it is like we initiate that, we are self-prepared. So if my chef don't come, I don't bother. I go and cook by myself. If my bartender is not there, I make cocktails, I make mocktails, I serve drinks. So we are everywhere, but we are nowhere. We are like a ghost, or a shadow. You can say that we can just add on wherever it's needed. So it is a very we cannot say that we are the owners and we cannot uh, we are not allowed to do this. Then any of these restaurant or hotel will never be a successful uh, model, I can rather say. So threats, it's the biggest challenge what is being analyzed, because it's a journey, it's a daily journey, like in what we experience. Because once I talk about pubs, or once I talk about let's say any of the restaurants or a fine dining restaurants or a casual restaurants, right, there's always a threat. Because one part of it, like our competitors are always thinking that what we need to do, how we need to let's say, kill the footfall of the other restaurants. So it's a day-to-day experience. So we need to be very creative. We need to understand that what can be given to public for their for the better, for the better taste and for the better ambience, such that they are coming throughout, you know throughout their whole life in our restaurant. So this is one of the threats, like what comes in. So I always say to all my friends here and wherever I mentor it, that we should be self-prepared, especially founders or managing directors, that we should be self prepared, and we should have one creative values to add on. So what we initiate is that every Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, we always give new menus to our people, and new cocktail menus we add on, such that they are never bored, and they always call us and say that what's there in the menu today, what's there in the what's there to drink. So we have given these securities also as well. So people, they are hassle free. I myself drop them once they are overdosed uh, with their drinking. I myself drop them home, such that they are always, they reach home on time, and their parents or their family relatives are not bothered. So this is how I do it, such that it becomes a very organic state of industry to move in. So phase 5 is like everybody does the same thing: marketing, positioning of marketing, social medias. We, especially for hotels or restaurants, we maximum add powerful headlines, which is one of the most important part, that what is the headline of today. So this is a kind of a SWOT analysis, uh, how we diagnose the whole market. Then we add on the investments. Then we add on the capacity, that in what capacity the table should be, the what capacity the restaurant area should be, what should be the ambience, what are the climate changes. According to that, we even have a placement of an AC, a very simple thing, because in pubs and all, we have a heat zone, we have a cold zone, we have a humid zone, right? So everything is calculated, then a project is initiated. So let me go to the next slide. So what are the challenges? As maximum, I have covered it. So location and facilities according to the area, and what can be the facilities. It's a very deep learning thing, where people gather in a very small restaurant, or people do not go to a bigger restaurants or bigger pubs or discotheques or any of the hotels, because what are the facilities they are getting, and why are they not going there? Okay, why are they not having a proper, if a hotel has or a restaurant has everything, why are the people not going there, right? So location plays an important role. What are the facilities we need to present them in public? We need to prove that yes, we are there for you at any cost. So founders, let's say, or the directors, visibility is very, very, very important in this. That is how we start, how we come into one picture, that no, this person is starting up and his mindset is very good. So after calculating all the competitors, we design. So what area should be taken? What is a public volume of a public coming down to other places? So this is how we design the interiors of hotel, or placement of the hotels, or it should be a 3-star hotel or 5-star hotel or 7-star hotel, right? or it can be a normal hotel, okay, where we can chunk money from there, right? So it's one of the most profit making business once we know how to execute, right? Then comes the challenges of staff. As I already have discussed, staff management is the threat. So we are connected with lots of consultant all over. So we are always prepared for plan B and plan C. Then comes the chef, because it's a heart of the hotel or a restaurant or pubs or anything you say. Chef plays a very, very important role. It's a heart of the hotel or a restaurant. So if a chef moves, the whole quality moves. So what we do is that we always keep let's say a combi one or combi two as an assistant, such that he can adopt things fast. So when I started up my restaurant, I had lot of chef issues rather than staff issues, because they were coming, they were going, they were let's say changing the menus now and then. So that made me think that no, it is better that I learn by myself, and let this glitch go away from my part of it. So that was one of the starting journey how I started to cook. So then comes the raw materials. It's very, very crucial to understand the spices, because we are always cheated in terms of spices, because we don't know how to look into it. We don't know how to know the exact fragrance of a spice, right? So I have been trained by lots of chefs to understand this, and in what scale of spices, what range of spices also plays a very important role to initiate your kitchen, because we cannot put some expensive spices just to initiate in a crowd of where the volume is 200 people or 150 people every day. For a hotel rooms also it's the same thing. Once we make a hotel of 50 rooms, we cannot initiate. So raw material placement is very important, which it saves the cost. So yes, then comes the menu of food and bar, where it is a very you find it very strange to to say that need in saying it is like uh, we prepare the menu before we even do the interiors. We prepare the bar menus before we even set up the interiors of it, because that will initiate us in in cutting down the areas for our interiors, and that will set up the locations, which is been the most important part, that whether we should do in a crowded place, or whether we should go a bit away from the crowded places. So this is the most important part, where I like to say to all the restaurant or a hotel owner or the startups, right, that prepare your menu first, prepare your bar menu first. If you are planning to start up a bar or a restaurant or a hotel also, prepare a menu, you know. Then comes the costing, as I have mentioned in a raw material, groceries and alcohol. What kind of a niche market we have according to the areas? What are the volume people can come, right? According to that, and what are the standard of people who is coming to your place? So once we know the menu, we can easily know the costing, that how can we manage you know to buy uh, raw materials, or we can even buy machines, even a deep freeze. What, there are thousands of stuffs which is needed, right? So we can initiate the costing, and we can save money we can save time. We cannot overuse our funds to overraise the uh, to overraise the costing of restaurant. So this is how, it moves. Then we should be able to know our licensee, that what are the license that it's required. And the most important part, after we run for a year, so EBITDA is the key to success for any of the restaurants, and it's one of the biggest challenge, in pulling out the EBITDA details, because it is a micro part of food, and especially foods, right? It's a micro part where we know that in one let's say in 1 kg of rice, how many plates can be initiated, right? So in 600 grams of, or a kilo of chicken, that what portion of let's say example, let's say tandoori chicken can be done, right? What are the materials used there? So it's a very micro part of it, right? I'll come in my let's say in my all this detail in my next uh, in my next in my next sector, right? So this is how we manage things. Then comes the musical part, where I guess Mayur is really working on it. How music plays an important role, and why are music in combination with interiors change our brain setup, especially, and why let's say any of the let's say restaurants, hotels, if there is a pub or discotheques or anything where it's there in the hotel, people chunk more money than chunking money in let's say in rooms, right? So music, it's it's a lovely subject where I can go for hours, but the most important part of ambience with music is it kills your depressive, your inner depressive uh, thoughts, inner depressive body languages, inner depressive in what state of mind you come to a place. So once you enter, your whole after some time, your whole chemical reactions in your brain starts coming in, right? So your mood changes. So we can be more creative once we are distracted, as everybody says, right? And it is always that a good music can really change the environment, really change the ambience of the place, really change the mood swings of a place, of a people, right? So different category of response changes us into a different setup of thought process. Because once we are going for a fine dining, right, we are dressing up in a very sophisticated, okay, where we know table manners, right? We know how to keep our fork, we know how to keep our spoon, right? We are very much very much cautious about it, right? But once we go to let's say pubs, right, we are conscious, but at the same time our mindset and our brain says something else, that no, we should go just eat food, and we should enjoy the music, right? So ambience and interiors plays a very very important role. So how can we create a concept of music and interiors, or the ambience, I rather say, right? How can we niche and understand? And again, the SWOT analysis comes in between, that the number of populations, how is the population, youngsters population, or the mid age populations, or the old age populations, like what we are targeting, what is our target mindset, and how a founder or a managing director's thought process is. Then only the hotel or a restaurant is created. Because if I'm a music lover, I'll never go for a fine dining. I would feel bored. I would never, stay in my own place, right? But if I'm a music lover, then it becomes easy for me to uh to replicate my nature towards my place, right? So consumption, what is the consumption of if the consumption of coffees are more, or if the consumptions of uh, let's say beverages are more. So in this way we calculate and how we move. And even the climate changes, you know, even the climate matters, because area to area we have a different, let's say, climate. So looking at the climate also, people fluctuate a lot. Then these are the few of the documents where it is legalized in India, right? So these are the few of the ownership deed papers. These are the papers which initiates how to start up the hotels or restaurants or anything. These are the standard thing. But this 239 Act differs from state to state. But in West Bengal, it's 239 to run pubs, because it's a different, a special license given to run, right? So a trade license is important. Fire safety is one of the kind where we see, most of the, lower part of the, uh, QSR, okay, they do not follow. A biryani house never follows that. Let's say, so, it would be great that, if government would initiate, that fire safety is important, and it is mandatory everywhere. Water supply, it's one of the kind where it depends on the area to area. So there is a license for it. And even a fitness certificate, people hardly know about. Even a fitness certificate of a founder is very, very important in this. So even a bar license is very tough to get it in India, right? So these are the few of the papers what is required. Then yes, the waste management part, where I was very much interested to say to our people that please do not waste food. Give it to poor people, give it to pets, call them, give it. We are blessed. you know so even from homes or even from restaurants, right? We should initiate this. Where I have created in my place is like a small area is created for our pets, okay, and for the especially for the poor people. Every night at 12 o'clock they come, they eat food and they go. And I've got 6 pets, a street pet, where they are there always, and they safeguard us from many things. They were twice, my restaurant was about to be opened and they were barking. Once we give them, they give us back. Even the poorer people also, they look after us. But we do not have this noticeable, changes in their thought, right? In what mindset they are, right? So please, I would always say that, do not waste food. Keep it in a proper place, such that poorer people or any of the pets can eat properly. Wash all the masalas or any of the ingredient before we give to pets, right? So what we do is that we boil them and we give them again back, and they eat properly, right? Especially for the poor people also, we do the same. We just wash it with warm water and we give it to them, so that their tummy or their health are not upset, right? So I'm against, say no to plastic, especially for restaurant. Is one of the largest consumption of plastics, largest consumption of bags, right? So you know it's like plastic is, it's a kind of a chemical reaction happens when we put food in plastics. So it's a threat of cancer. It's a threat of certain diseases, which is like a slow poisoning diseases. What it comes, we start murmuring once food is fused with plastics. Our tongue becomes thick. We do not even realize it. So and sewage management. right? I always say that have a proper sewage management everywhere, such that we are helping people around us also, because the waste part is it's not good for the other people who even pass through it, and even they are, it's kind of a disease threat, right? And water management, please use less water and save water, because later on, we may not get sufficient water. The place where I stay, we buy water. It is like it is expensive than buying even clothing, right? So please, we need to let's say save water as well, right? Then fire safety management has already been discussed. It should be mandated all over India, where let it be your smallest restaurant or let it be your smallest QSR, let it be cloud kitchens, let it be anywhere, right? Fire safety has to be, managed. So this is all I wanted to share. And if any questions, please, you know, uh, we can, just talk and discuss. Over to you.
Yes. Thanks, Alok. Very mouth-watering session. I'm sure you have increased appetite of a lot of people. Everybody, I'm sure whoever have switched off their cameras are hogging on to something and pretending that they are in this session. So let's put questions. Before that, let me tell you, whoever asks maximum number of questions will get a free lunch treat from Alok in a 5-star restaurant.
Yes,
If
I would love to cook and feed.
Yeah,
I
and
would
whoever
love
doesn't ask any question will have to treat Alok in a 5-star restaurant. Thanks. Go ahead.
I would be very much, obliged to cook and feed.
I'll start off with Alok. The new concept is since you are into pet as well as into restaurant.
Yes.
A lot of in Bangalore, especially, a lot of restaurants have started a pet-friendly areas. They have, in fact, a separate menu for the pets.
Yes.
No, I think it would be lovely to have in something like Darjeeling. I don't know whether it exists.
Yeah,
And
it's here.
what do you
It's
think about it?
Yes, it is a very pet friendly place where I stay, right? So even let's say maximum of the pets are not even allowed to many of the restaurants or hotels, but the place where I stay, right, pets are all open up. They are like they are like a family, right? So but yes, there are many safety precautions we need to take once we are eating with them, and once we are let's say giving them food as well at the same time. So what happens is that the fur, okay, once a fur is there in your food, okay, it a very basic thing is that you have a tummy pain, right? It's in a very different level of tummy pain where I have suffered once, right? So what happens is that we should be having a different place where we can give them food, okay, but not mixing with humans in restaurants, because they have the tendency when there is, if a pet has if they come over from heat place to cold place, okay, they always uh play around a lot. They want to pee to different places, right? So it is there, but always it is always in a distance in my place, right? So there is a very different set of people, right, who are pet lovers, who look after, and lots of let's say food menus, especially pastries, right? There is a fusion of such a thing that they start eating, so, and they, because of the treats, right, what we give to pets, right? So they become very friendly, and so it is very easily manageable, right? So I wish there would be hundreds of pet cafes all over.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah. Am I audible, Aloki?
Yes.
Great session, a great walkthrough to the introduction of the F&B business, because it is something we all need to learn how it goes. Absolutely insightful session. My question is that I have seen a lot of concept hotels that are coming up, like we have cloud dining where 100 feet above we'll have dining, and we have try-in restaurants, we have dialogue in the dark where blind people supply. So what innovation, like, is potential? Is still we have a lot of concepts to come in India? Is there is an opportunity for more innovations in food industry?
Yes, there is, like, vegan foods, it's very much in trend nowadays, right? But it is said that it's very tough to be a vegan person, right? So vegan trend has started, right, where people do not eat milk products as well. They do not eat, you know, they do not eat meats. They do not eat, there is a very specific oils they use, right? They do not, sometimes they do not eat even mushrooms, right there. So, the trend is coming and there is a very niche market, right? And I'm seeing a very huge potential in a place where, in especially in highways, that are takeaways, right? Where, I guess KFC started here, and it's going in a very good scale, and especially the QSR restaurants, okay, and or the dhabas, we can rather say, commonly word used. Okay, what they have done is that, our very takeaway counter is maintained, and they do not want to let's say sit and eat nowadays because of the securities. If they could go with families, or if they go with let's say with friends, or with the associates, right? So, this trend is increasing, but it is a cash burning, initially it's a very cash burning, let's say, stage, where a founder or the owner should know how to execute it, how to place the menus, and how to have a balanced structure, right, for all this kind of restaurants. Because they open, and if you see that next time you go after 3 months, it's closed, right? Because they do not know how to balance the the costing, especially, right? Because they are not cooking, they are just staying in a counter, and they are just they are enjoying their the ownership. But I would always say that, to start in any of these roadsides, an owner should be in front, and they should have a face value for it. Then only, I guess, it's a very successful model. I hope I have answered to Divakar, I guess.
Great. Thank you, Aleki. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, Alex. Hi,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
Rashik Kanadi.
yes.
It's a good, informative session. I worked in a five-star hotel in finance and all. I was running one bar and restaurant also afterwards. So a lot of information you have given. It's a very informative, even for the people who want to venture into F&B business and all. It's nice having sharing that all information with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Because you see, what happens is that, they start, but they see lots of cash is burning out because they are not prepared, what to do next, right? They listen to others instead of listening to themselves, right? So this is a very cash burning, let's say, a journey, right, where we are very new. Even I burnt my cash and I learned how to manage. So it's a very, it's like a gambling, right? I rather say, in a very straight and a very precise, it's like a gambling. If you don't have knowledge of gambling, you cannot. So this is how a hotel or a restaurant runs. So that's why you see maximum in real estates, right? Hotels are in sale because they are, they are building up, thinking that, there is a 74% of margin, 60% of margin, 50% of margin. And even in especially in for the alcohols, it is 100 plus percentage of margin. But how do you curate that? How do you manage it, right? And how do you have a correct placement, okay, such that you are getting those margins, right? It is very, very important to understand before we even take it, right? So this is how one part of it, I like to help people to, to make them understand that how well it goes.
Okay, morning. Sir, I have any questions?
Yes, so I think we got very few minutes before we close off. Anybody else would love to know about?
Sayeda ji is having some question. Sayeda ji.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, what is the range of percentage of profit? Because usually the idea is in food industry, the profit is around 200%.
Yes.
So can you throw some light upon it?
Yes. Just I said, actually, what happens is that any of the QSR, okay, I'll just say you in 5 or 6 different points. Especially in QSR, okay, what happens is quick serving restaurants, okay, the percentage rises till 70%. If the sale volumes is it's higher note. Once the sale volume drops down, your costing becomes high, okay, and such the percentage part is also lower. So if a percentage part comes to 40% or lesser, I would always say that to close a restaurant after 3 months or 4 months, because we can sustain for 3 months or 4 months max. After that, we should always have a plan B to initiate to maintain at least 70 to 60%. If it goes down for 40%, either we need to hire a consultant and give immediate look or ponder on it, that why is my QSR or any department is going less, because even a chef plays a very important role in this, because what they do is that they're making good food and suddenly they drop down, right? So once the quality changes, okay, the whole volume changes, right? So we need to be very much precise, okay, to venture that how can we improve, not by improving the raw materials never it's never a trend to improve. We say buying expensive masalas will improve the quality of the food. No, it's not that. It's how we prepare it with good thoughts and with good process, right? So there is always a standard process. So, and in terms of let's say cloud kitchens, it is for initial 18 months, okay, we burn cash. For 18 months we burn cash, because the rotation of the money comes in and it goes back, because cloud kitchen to identify the brands, okay, it's a very important role, right? So let's say example of a biryani house, right? Brand is there. To make that cloud kitchen initiate that, no, we are a cloud kitchen, and to initiate that it takes almost a year. And then we have to initiate the productivity and the quality in the same note throughout, such that the people, whoever is eating, let's say 5% in a week, still they are getting the same taste. So cloud kitchen is always an organic part, because that has to sustain, right? So this is one part of it, and second part of it is that you are burning cash on making your brand. Okay, so it's a 18 months journey for a cloud kitchen, but for pubs it is 12-month journey, right? So in 12 months what we do is that we have our brands ready, we have our placements ready, and we from the next year we start churning profits. So creativity is the most important part in all this. How are you making the fuse? Gastronomy, there are fusion foods, there are lots of educating yourself is the key to success. This is the the most important part, I rather say, because we need to study a lot about foods, ingredients, how are we placing it, and what are the other competitors. Every week I go to other place and I eat, I see that what are they improved or not, right? So so we being the founders, we have to follow that SWOT analysis always. It's a day-to-day journey. It's not into a bigger industry that okay, we set up, people are working and going back. No, today is a different set, tomorrow it can be a different set, day after can be a different. Who knows, your sale value increases a lot or your sale value becomes nil, right? For 10 days, 20 days, what will you do? You're burning cash, right? So this is how we project. So we know that how it has to be initiated, right? So there is a profit. I am saying it is a profit, and I'm doing it for 16 years. There is a profit.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks.
you.
So, since we have done with the time, and before Molly runs away and try to grab her dinner, I would request Molly to conclude this session. And if there is any question, I would love Molly to put it forward. Please go ahead, Molly.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us to listen to Alok's presentation on food and beverage. From past, I don't have any questions, but from past experience, there are in every luxury hotels, there are 7 departments. You have food and beverage, which is the best of making revenues, and food and beverage is the only departments that actually holds up the other 6 departments, which is the front of the house, security, laundry, accounting, executive office, and food and beverage. So there are 7 departments in every luxury hotel, and food and beverage holds all 6 in their hands, and they often make it, even though the revenue sometimes does not come in from the front desk for people to stay. The food and beverage always makes money, especially when it comes to bars and alcohol. That makes, oh my gosh, thousands of percent.
200%.
So it's amazing that food and beverage is the forefront of any happiness, any sadness, just like Alok said. And when you have that celebration, then it's actually propel it even forward, and food is the center of happiness. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight, and we look forward to another week next week, and we will have that as a surprise of who is going to be presenting next.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Alok. Thanks a lot, Molly. And thanks everyone for joining in and finding out time. So see you next time. Ciao.
Thank
And
you,
enjoy
Mayur.
your-
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Enjoy your food.
Okay, bye bye.